Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias Rush. This podcast is sponsored by EliasRushMedia.com, photo, video, digital media production. Today we are discussing The Legend of Korra Season 2, the second book. Book 2, Spirits. Book 1 was Air. Same guys, Michael, Brian, both same animators. This focuses way more on the spiritual concepts and themes than its preceding season, which focused way more on the elemental side and learning of the elements and kind of ingratiating you into the Legend of Korra world. So, yeah, here's the premise real quick. This is, let me see. This is going to talk about the premise, non-spoiler a little bit for people that are like, should I jump into Legend of Korra season 2? It's like, if you're already in Legend of Korra and you've gone through all of the Avatar shows, it's like, why not just keep on going? I mean, at this point, I've completed season 2 in a non-spoiler section. I can safely say it's okay on the other side. I know season 2 kind of gets ridiculed a little bit as kind of not as the most. I don't know if it's the ridicule as the most unexciting season, but it's not. It's got the sequelitis. It's like they don't know what to do with these characters, kind of thing. It's like, oh wow, we had such a fucking banger of a first season. Like, oh shit, we didn't even know we had to do a follow up to that. So, yeah, when it came down to it, the premise of season 2, with it focusing on kind of the division of all of our favorite characters that had just come together at the end of season 1. You can very much feel that. Stranger Things kind of did the same thing. When you bring all of your favorite characters through a season, and at the very end, all you want them to do is continue their own thing, but they split up. That's what happens a lot in season 2. Here's the premise: in a world in which some people can telekinetically control one of the four classical elements, the Avatar is the only individual who can bend all four elements and is responsible for maintaining balance in the world. This season focuses on Avatar Korra coming to terms with her role as the liaison between humans and the mystical spiritual world. Book 2 takes place 6 months after Book 1, and its narrative is divided between Republic City, the primary setting of the first season, and other locations, such as the Spirit World in the South Pole, home of the Southern Water Tribe. Korra's uncle, Unalaq, the chief of the Northern Water Tribe, seizes control of the Southern Water Tribe as a part of a scheme to free Vaatu. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not spoiling anything. Um, seizes control of the Southern Water Tribe as a scheme to free Vaatu, an ancient dark spirit. The narrative follows Korra's friends' efforts to win the support of the Southern Tribe in Republic City, and Korra's quest to foil Unalaq's plans and learn about spirits. A two-part episode entitled Beginning delves into the history of the Avatar's lineage, which I think absolutely is worth the time and effort that you're going through this season. It tells the story of Juan, the young man who became the first Avatar as a result of his attempts to maintain peace and balance between the material and spiritual worlds and atone for empowering the dark spirit Vaatu. And so, uh, yeah, we have new characters, obviously, in this season. One of them being Aubrey Plaza. I was like, holy Santa Claus. I was like, I cannot believe that she's in this. And Lisa Edelstein as Kaya, who is Tenzin's older sister, I believe, which happens to be Aang's first daughter, I guess, Kaya. She's a waterbender. And then we have Eska, who is the nephew of, hold on, the nephew of, she's cousins with Korra, I believe, actually. And Toe Rock? Who the fuck is Toe Rock? Um, I don't see Toe Rock in this. Maybe a Tone Rock? I don't know. I'll figure out who the fuck that is. Uh, See, this is what Google's for. You just instantly. Oh, the father. Okay, so he was the father. James Remar was Avatar Korra's father. So, with saying all that, is there a episode breakdown? Okay, so with saying all that, season 2 of The Legend of Korra, yes, it does slow it down. We're not in Republic City. We're in a new location. We're dealing with these spirits. And so the concept of the spirit is probably the biggest problem for me personally in this entire season 2. Now, there's always been this spiritual connection with the avatars and the avatar world. Absolutely no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I would encourage it because it makes more sense having balance with everything, or harmonic balance. Uh, the thing is with these actual spirits, it's like they don't have any physical form really. They're just kind of like these entities and like ghostly things. It's like, so how do you even fight these things? And so when they're in the spirit world, like the element bending doesn't even work. And so when they're even trying to fight these things, when ultimately these spirits come to the real world, it feels like they're not tangible enough in a way that previous seasons of Avatar have felt. They have all felt in a way grounded. Now, grounded as in like, what it would feel like to get slapped with some water or a fireball to the face to an extent. It'd be hot. It would hurt to get hit with a rock to the face. It would hurt to get, stabbed with sharp elemental objects and stuff like that. If you get blown away, you know what it feels like to have a big gust of wind at you. It's very tangible and understandable and organic in a way that we as a viewer are like, yeah, that would fucking hurt. But when it came down to the spirit world and they're fighting these spirits throughout this season, it's just like the entire thing just kind of falls apart because it feels like nothing's happening. You're just throwing elements at nothing, and they feel like nothing characters in a way. Like the Amon character in the first season was such a foe that it came down to like, I was like, wow, that was a really good antagonist. We cared about him from an emotional level. Aang had like some sort of attachment to him. There was tons of backstory that really held this together, as in Korra fighting her uncle for the power of being the last avatar is just like, wait, what? It just felt like, and then, and then, and then, and then, and then, and when you keep saying and then in stories, it just kind of, it's like, all right, all right. So what even makes sense anymore? It by the end of this season, I had major gripes just with the power sets. And that's pretty much what happened throughout the entire series of just season 2. It just felt like they were as little powerful or as powerful as they needed to be. And you can kind of make that ultimate statement throughout a lot of Avatar, but I felt like it was especially poignant at this point being on The Legend of Korra. I was just like in shock. I was just like, the visuals, the characters, they're all there. The direction, I was, on pins and needles. I was very interested. I was very hooked. And, the music, of course, when the Avatar music hits, it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's, oh, yes, the chair did it for me. It's like, but you know what I mean? It is, it's like, cathartic experience to see our favorite character go into that mode, and it's just like really awesome from a visual standpoint. Now, throughout most of the season, I I had mixed feelings about our main character and her main decisions, and I was like, all decide. I don't know about all this, if we need to do all this. Um, but ultimately, I liked where she ended up. I do feel like I've heard this called like the Empire Strikes Back of the series, and I can kind of see it because at the end of this is not exactly a happy ending. Without going into spoilers, there's some pretty serious shit that goes down. So, let me kind of discuss these episodes a little bit more in detail. I'm not going to go quite as in depth as I said I would in the first one, or as the Avatar series we did. Um, but yeah, season 2, episode 1. We start with the chapter 1, Rebel Spirit. Um, 6 months after the defeat of Anan and the Equalist, Korra believes she has mastered airbending. Mako works as a policeman. Bolin fares poorly in the pro-bending. With the new fire ferrets, Asami tries to keep the future industries intact. I do feel like Asami is overall not as uh, in in she's not in this. She has such a strong background, a strong story, and I wish she was in it more. Um, we're gonna start talking about these more in depth. So if you haven't seen the Legend of Korra in depth in uh, season 2, then prepare to learn, I guess. Uh, so Asami tries to keep the future industries intact. Team Avatar joins Tenzin and his family to visit the Southern Water Tribe for their winter solstice, which I did not find the Southern Water Tribe that interesting throughout the majority of the season. I was the one thing about this chorus season in comparison to the other seasons where we're exploring all these new places, even exploring Republic City. In Avatar, I felt like we were going to place to place to place, and I just was not interested in the Southern Water Tribe at all. Um, the festivities are disrupted by the rampage of a dark spirit, which neither Korra nor Tenzin can calm or repel. Unalaq, Korra's uncle and the chief of the Northern Water Tribe, ultimately assures the spirit's anger with a spiritual form of waterbending. Despite the misgivings of her father, who has a strained relationship with his brother, Korra apprentices herself to Unalaq to continue her spiritual development, rebuffing her previous mentor Tenzin in the process. So yeah, I didn't really like how she treated Tenzin in this episode, but it does make 100% sense why she would go with Unalaq. I mean, no one else could contain the spirit monster animal thing, and uh, it just makes sense that she would need to learn this naturally. If her father can't do it, Tenzin can't do it, then yeah, maybe she should have finished with Tenzin and maybe not has been as big of a dick. But like I said, I just think that um, it would have been a lot better if everybody was on the same page. As yeah, Core does need to learn how to like tame these motherfuckers. Um, Let me see if there's anything I need to say about that. 6 months later, attacking ships, more world building. Korra tired as hell at Tenzin. Um, the androgynous twins are introduced in this episode. Okay, so this was kind of interesting. I don't remember seeing too many cartoon male and females looking similar. Just by changing like a little bit of the eye liner length. Um, so yeah, we see some beautiful architecture with regards to that ship. I think it's Varric's ship is who's introduced at that point. Then we got the Swami. You're fired. Slowly backs out, and Varric is bringing a much needed point of comedy that I think Bolin kind of tries to fill, but Bolin is not. He's kind of like we're laughing at Bolin, but he's not the comedic relief. Like this guy is kind of sad in my opinion. Um, yeah, and so there's like this Marilyn Monroe type that's introduced. Ends up being like Bolin's girl. Let's see, boyfriend or slave, which is what I think Eska tells Bolin at one point. It's like she's like it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. It's like oh god up in there. So let me see what else we got. Still not crazy with about the name Naga, which Naga just completely in what is it, Pobo? What I forget what the Bolin's little animals called, but anyways, they get completely sidelined this season. Um, let me see. Let me see. So I love the visual wide shots of the town when the spirit animal is dissolving. I mean, there is some beautiful cinematography in this. It's just from the colors, from the scale. Like this season really plays a lot with scale, more than most of the seasons. Let me see. Okay, so let's go to episode 2. I don't want to hop on this too long. This is going to be a big one. Chapter 2, The Southern Lights. Korra and company journey with Unalaq and his children as Desna and Eska to the South Pole, where Korra is to attempt to return the long absent Southern Lights at Unalaq's urging. When Korra learns that her father was once banished from the Northern Water Tribe for causing a spirit rampage that he intends to responsible for secluding her in youth, she insists Tonrock return home, and tensions begin to grow between herself and Tenzin at the South Pole. Korra succeeds in returning with the Southern Lights by opening a blocked spirit portal, one of the gateways which allows access to the spirit world and regulates the flow of energy between two worlds. Returning to the pole, Korra's party discovers that Northern Water Tribe have come to occupy the south at Unalaq's direction to initiate a reunification of the two tribes. At the Southern Air Temple, Jinora is strongly drawn to the statues of the past avatars, in particular that of her grandfather Aang and an unidentified carving of another ancient avatar. So this is where we kind of get a little bit of the backstory of with the Jinora stuff. Maybe she has a lot more power in her than we can even imagine. But I'm just gonna kind of just fast forward to the end real quick about the Jinora thing. The whole Jinora thing. This is spoilers for the end of season 2. Um, the whole Jinora thing. What the heck? Like, is she an angel or something like that? She comes in and saves Korra at the very end when she's fighting Unalaq, when they're in the big glowy stages of the Avatar states, and saves Korra, but like there's no explanation of what happens. She's just like she's in the spirit world with Tenzin and her family, and she's like, "Oh, Korra's in trouble. Something bad's going down. I gotta go drop a big beam of light." And I was just like, "Okay." Um, Not gonna argue with that, but it's just like they just kind of made up these powers and didn't really care to explain too much about them. Maybe we'll get them in next season, but this was kind of the start of where we see Jinora having that ability to like have uh, a, be in touch with the spirit world. Um, so they fix the darkness. They go to the South Pole to fix the darkness, but ultimately they kind of bring more with them. Um, and it was kind of interesting to see that they were really sad to see that the aunt and uncle were not airbenders. I think this was at the air temple that they had went to. Every storm, winter solstice connects the spirit world. Okay, so yeah, there's a winter solstice, the aligning of the planets. Let me see what else we got. The love the flashback music of Korra's father. It sounds a lot like Game of Thrones, just with like this history that's going on and this the violins playing. It sounds amazing. The spirits are pissed about the forest. I don't know if he should have been banished. He was protecting the town, from what I can tell. Korra's father. Um, so yeah, very cool effect of the light in the sky, and there's this strong feeling of authoritarianism, I guess, within her uncle, within her uncle. So number 3, I really don't think we should go through all these, but Chapter 3, Civil War, Part 1. As the Southerners resist Northern occupation, Unalaq offers to protect the southern portal while Korra opens its northern counterpart, claiming that will deepen the connection between humanity and the spirits and will prevent further dark spirit attacks. See about that. Eccentric Southern tribe inventor and entrepreneur Varric, whose business suffers from Unalaq's blockade, begins a revolt. Korra prevents an abduction of Unalaq by Southern rebels as she tries to reconcile with her mother, Sina, in Tonrock. Unalaq appears to arrest them for conspiring to assassinate him. At the air temple, Ikki appears and Tenzin, Kaya, and Bumi search for a while, recalling their childhood with their late father, Aang. I will say most of that stuff with Tenzin, Kaya, Bumi, and all of that, kind of reconnecting with their father, Aang, kind of just felt like rediscovering older stuff that didn't necessarily need to be explored in this specific episode. I really felt like we should have had got the ground running, and every time we were going over to the Tenzin Kaya Bumi relationship, I thought it was really emotional when it came down to the the family dynamics. I enjoyed it, but from the pacing standpoint, I was like, pick it up, people. There's some crazy shit going on, and we keep flashing over to Tenzin, Kai, and Bumi, and I like those characters a lot, and I just felt like they didn't quite know what to do with Tenzin in this season. Like, they had JK, but they didn't know what to do with it. It was like, what did I have to say on this one? They need to open up the North Portal. Bolin is being a bitch for one of the twins. The Tenzin and family relationship is fun to watch. Like I said, her father's arrested. Tonrock. And this guy in the bear costume. Oh, Varric. Oh my gosh, with his assistant sitting on his ass or under his ass in the bear costume. I was like, this is some funny shit. I just remember he's always yelling for his assistant, Julie, get your ass over here. Always trying to get something done. But anyways, that was pretty damn funny. Yeah, Tenzin and his siblings argue. They're somewhat jealous of Tenzin and his responsibilities as an airbender. Yeah, so they are jealous, but they also don't really want to have that responsibility. It's kind of like a win-lose kind of thing. And Bumi's just crazy. Let me see. Love the baby appas. Very sweet scene between Bumi and his sister. A scene you wouldn't see in most cartoons, many kids' cartoons. So there's I guess, like I said, there's some things that are happening with Tenzin and his family in this last couple episodes, with them kind of on this retreat thing, that I don't necessarily have a problem with, because they lead to very touching scenes for a cartoon, like scenes they probably would normally put there. So it was it was good to see that this kind of relationship can be done on animations, quote unquote kids cartoon. Bolin gets dressed up like Eska. That was pretty damn funny. Even this little man get dressed up too. The uncle betrayal is way more interesting than the spirits. So yeah, there's this betrayal between the uncle and Tonrock. Unalaq and Tonrock, is that the two brothers' names? The thing is, there's always some brother betrayals and shit like that going on in Avatars forever. I mean, we have the Fire Nation in the original Avatar. We have I think there's some waterbending stuff. There's a lot of family betrayals in the Avatar world. Whoops. Trying to get comfortable. But yeah, this is nonetheless. Of course, we got to have a betrayal from another family member. Let me see what else. Oh, it was hilarious seeing Varric drive the boat in the bear costume. Like, dude, come on. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Oh, and Bolin seeing his crazy girlfriend come after him when she's flying over the over the water coming after him. He was like, she's she's straight up about to buck him up. And also we get a picture of a young Katara and family, or young Aang and family, young Katara and Aang family. I thought that was very nice. It's kind of like a very quick scene. We don't even get to look at it very long. But yeah, let's hop on to episode 5, and then we'll hop on to the last episode. Chapter 5, The Peacekeepers. In Republic City, tensions between Southern and Northern Water Tribe rise as Southern Water Tribe Cultural Center is bombed. Mako, back in the police force, tries to track down the culprits while Varric produces anti-Northern propaganda. Movers, motion pictures. Starring Bolin. Or Nut Tub, King of the South. Korra fails to persuade President Reiko to send troops in support of the Southern Rebellion. A conflicted Mako reveals Korra's plan to stubborn General Iroh to commit the United Forces to the War of Reiko. Korra sets off on a sea voyage to the Fire Nation to seek the Fire Lord's support, but is persuaded by Eska and Desna and eventually swallowed by a gargantuan dark spirit. So this is kind of where things start to get a little bit crazy. You know, we have all this spirit shit. We have a lot of this propaganda, all this government bullshit. Like the crossing of the spirit world and having all of this political intrigue in the back, it's just like they don't blend together, in my opinion. They feel like water and oil trying to blend them together. It's just like, they are fundamentally two different things, and I don't feel like they're quite. They're juggling a lot of things at this point, and I don't. The thing is, I feel like we don't really get a feel for what the people of Republic City feel about these dark spirits. Like, are they a problem? Like, I get the feeling that they're a problem from Korra, but like, it just seems like individual places that the spirits are attacking, but like, it was hard to tell from like a major standpoint of what these spirits really wanted. They just like running up and just destroying people's homes and destroying people's ships and shit like that. Like it didn't feel like there was a consistent message. As the spirits just wanted destruction, and I was like, I fundamentally don't even agree with that. They needed to have a better motive, in my opinion. What is going on with the hair? Oh, there we go. Okay, so let me see. So there were a couple episodes in the middle with the first Avatar Wan. I believe this is episode 7. Okay, I'm going to talk about these real quick because I just feel like it's necessary. No, the episodes in the middle of the first in the middle of the season with the first Avatar Wan, I really enjoyed the visual aesthetic of the world and the way that it shows him growing and learning, becoming the Avatar. So let me see. This is episode 7, chapter 7, Beginnings, part 1. While being heated by the fire sages, Korra explores her past lives and experiences the journey of Wan, the first Avatar who lived 10,000 years. At this time, humans lived on the shells of giant lion turtles to protect themselves from the spirit wilds and other dangers from the spirit world that freely roam the physical world. Juan and his friends live in poverty and hunger under the nepotistic family that rules his city. As a form of protection, the lion turtles grant the power to bend the elements for a limited time when humans venture into the wilds. After Juan violates the prohibition against bringing his bending into the city in order to steal food for his friends, he is banished from the city but allowed to keep his fire bending. He manages to survive by befriending the spirits of the forest, but 2 years later he sets out on a journey of exploration where he eventually encounters two powerful spirits battling each other. One of the spirits asks Juan for assistance when he is held down by the other, and Juan separates the two. While the spirit escapes the other spirit, Rava explains that she is the spirit of light and peace, and that the spirit Juan had inadvertently freed is Vatu, the spirit of darkness and war. Juan has inadvertently initiated an age of darkness for the world. No good deed undone, I guess, right? Sorry, no good deed goes unpunished. What is it? What is it? I don't know. I fucked that up. Anyways, yeah, I love the visual aesthetic of the first Avatar world. Love the story of Juan. No complaints about that, really. Let's continue real quick. Juan discovers a second lion turtle inhabited by airbenders, but no sooner has he arrived than Vatu appears, turning other spirits dark and threatening to destroy the world. Determining to stop Vatu, Juan resolves to master additional elements with Rava's help and prepare for the harmonic convergence, during which Vatu and an increasingly weakened Rava will battle for the fate of the world. Juan and Rava fail to stop a bloody war initiated between the humans and spirits by Vatu. Arriving at the southern spirit portal, Juan and Rava enter the spirit world and join battle against Vatu by having Rava temporarily inhibit Juan. The battle goes poorly when the harmonic convergence begins. Juan and Rava are able to fuse together permanently, therefore becoming the first Avatar. After sealing Vatu in the Tree of Time, Juan convinces the spirits to return to the world and seal the portals, becoming the bridge between the two worlds himself. Years later, a dying Juan lays on a smoldering battlefield and apologizes to Rava for not bringing peace to the world, but Rava assures him that the journey has only just begun, and that they will live many lives together in the Avatar cycle of reincarnation. Korra awakens, memories restored, and leaves the island intent on stopping Unalaq's plans, whatever they may be, for the next harmonic convergence, which is mere 9 weeks away. Sorry, which is mere weeks away. Just real quick, Mako and Korra broke up before she left to go do all this spirit world shit because she was pissed that Mako had sold her out to the police, I believe. Which, fuck Mako for that. He needs to get it for that. But I did feel like Asami and Mako should have come back together for that. But after that, finding out all about the previous avatars and how they were actually created is very interesting. I mean, it's giving us light that I don't even think the original Avatar Last Airbender series even covered. So it feels like we're going deep in this history. All right. So let's hop on to the last episode. You know how these last couple episodes normally air on the same day, the 22nd. Looks like this was the last two. So we'll treat episodes 13 and 14 together. Chapter 13, Darkness Falls. Korra tries to imprison Vatu while Mako and Bolin attempt to keep Unalaq out of the spirit world with help from Desna and Eska. Unalaq overpowers Mako and Bolin, ambushes Korra, and merges with Vatu, becoming the Dark Avatar. Korra and Unalaq then battle each other in their retrospective Avatar states. In the spirit world, Tenzin and his siblings come across Iroh. I was like, yes, Iroh, Uncle Iroh, who indicates how to find Jinora. The siblings then venture into the fog of the lost souls, which I thought was a cool concept, but then which drives humans mad with their self-doubt. Kaya and Bumi quickly succumb to the fog, and Tenzin nearly does as well, but is visited by a vision of Aang, by whose advice Tenzin temporarily clears the fog and frees his relatives, accepts his destiny as separate from that of his father for the first time of his life, which was Tenzin's problem the entire season. He just always felt like he needed to be Aang essentially, and he doesn't need to be Aang. He needs to be Tenzin. Um, Mako and Bolin convince Eska and Desna to free them, but are unable to render aid in Korra in time to Aura to Korra in time. Vatu tears Rava, his other half, out of Korra, and Unalaq severs her connection with her past lives. I hated seeing that. I was like, no, Juan, no, no, Avatar, no, Aang, no, all of their favorite guys that I kind of forgot their name, but all the avatars. I was like, no. Um, so that was sad seeing all that happen. Unalaq severs her connection with her past lives. Jinora spiritually senses the destruction of Rava and goes to help. Unalaq transforms into Unavatu, the strongest and enormously powerful dark spirit, and departs into the physical world, determined to destroy it and remake it in a fashion of his own choosing. So this is where we see like this fucking monster. I mean, he is no longer the uncle of Desna and Eska, or sorry, father of Desna and Eska, and I think Korra pretty much says that. Once he merges, he's bucked up. He is just on this next level. You can't tell him nothing. Chapter 14, Light in the Dark. Tenzin and his siblings find Korra and her friends wounded and unconscious. Once healed by Kaya, Korra states that with Rava gone, the cycle is over, and she is now likely the last Avatar. Unavatu attacks Republic City. During the attack, Varric escapes prison, like the damn Joker. In the spirit world, Tenzin leads Korra to the Tree of Time and tells her to meditate with it. As she meditates, Korra unlocks previously untapped spiritual potential and teleports to Republic City to discover a fragment of Rava within Vatu. The spirits of light and dark cannot exist without each other, and one will always regrow from within the other. Jinora's spirit illuminates the fragment, and Korra withdraws Rava and purifies Unavatu, killing Unalaq and defeating Vatu. Tenzin, Kaya, Bumi, Mako, Bolin, Deza, and Eska defend Korra's body from attacking dark spirits. Korra and Rava return and use harmonic convergence to remerge the avatar. Remerge. The avatar spirit is reformed, but Korra's link to the previous avatars appears to remain lost. After deep contemplation, Korra decides to leave the spirit portals open, believing that the spirits and humans can find a way to coexist and should be allowed the chance. She also declares the Southern Water Tribe to now be independent from the North as its own state. Korra and Mako end their relationship, but pledge to remain friends. Korra declares that the world has entered a new age. And that is the end of Book 2. Spirits. So yeah, like I said, that whole last two episodes, they're kind of the Avatar and the Korra series like to do these last two episodes kind of all as in one. They were very eye capturing. Let me see if I can get these the looks of what these things were. Let me see. Legend of Korra season 2. Yeah, just this was fucking crazy to watch. This like little battle with Korra being absolute fucking massive, and then whooping like the ass of Unalaq and kind of just like ripping him to shreds. Yeah, very cool. I guess the only thing was like just seeing like these ghostly spiritual things like punch and stuff. It's just like, is that really what they would be doing? They just straight bah like okay. And then we have Jinora coming in here with Spirit Jinora. I've thought about this several times, and it feels like Jinora probably should have been a sacrifice in this, and they might have written this at one point to have Jinora actually die, because it feels like she's like sacrificing herself as, I mean, she's in a Jesus pose right there. She's in like an angelic pose that would symbolize probably her being dead. So it's just like, there feels like a lot happens in this season, but also there's not much that is lost. And in the first season, we had such great characters, especially with Toph's daughter and stuff like that, and having all these amazing action scenes that do make sense, and these characters whose actions make sense. Having this dark avatar, it's like, okay, I'm willing to kind of like, I guess I'll entertain that. But when it came down to like the fact of these ghosts attacking, these spirits attacking, I was just like, I don't know about all this. I mean, the visuals obviously are some of the coolest things I've seen. Um, you know, with regards of the Unavatu character, his like final form or whatever the fuck he's doing, but ultimately, I just you know, it became way more of a show than a show of like moments. This season felt like way more about moments than it did about the actual story. Like I felt like the story was like the powers or the subsets that you whatever you need them to be at this point. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed Avatar season 2. Liked it, didn't love it like I loved the first season. So let's see what season 3 has for us. But yeah, that pretty much does it for season 2. I hope we get a little bit more into the spirit world. The only spirit world stuff that I really enjoy is the stuff that was past connections with the previous avatars. I feel like those are the strongest. Just keep on talking about them. I think those are the most important to cover. But yeah, so that is Korra season 2. To support the podcast, paypal.me/the LuckyDog Comments, questions, concerns, email luckydogpodcast@gmail.com, Twitter @LuckyDogPodcast, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, all the fun social medias in the link below or to the side or wherever, whatever the podcast provider you're listening or watching on is providing it on. If you want it live, get it Twitch. If you want it early, get it YouTube. If you want it mastered, get the SoundCloud. So you know what to do. All right. Take it easy. Take it easy. And like I said, sorry, I always forget to say, there's just not enough Appa. Need more Appa. So a yip yip and take it easy.